The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Kliq This. Kev and Nash, you're in the right place. You're looking for Joey Diaz, and you were probably me fumbling the fucking camera. I was trying to bring up my Joey here. Hold on a minute. I was going to start the fucking show and tell you. Don't worry about nothing, Kev. Don't you worry about nothing. Where are we there? There we go. You keep teasing you're going to have me on as a guest. I never get a fucking phone call. I don't understand why. We were boys on the fucking set, you know. We smoked those fucking ropes. You'd go toe-to-toe with me anytime, motherfucker, but you don't call me to come on the show. I don't understand that shit. I'd have you on my fucking show, but I know you want the big fucking bucks. I pay in edibles, bitch. And you don't roll with that either. You smoke your shit, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm waiting by the fucking phone, all right? You call, I'll be there, all right? No problem.
All right.
Yes, Joey. It's good when Joey checks in.
Nice.
You can smell him through the screen. You can smell the fucking weedage through the screen. Well, this is a kind of an auspicious week, Kevin, because you're going to be, we're going to be live tonight telling everybody on ad-free shows to do the watch-along with some fun matches, including the Yeti, the Master Blasters, and maybe even a little Buck Zumhoff. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys waiting tonight at 9 o'clock. If you're listening on Monday on release day, that is the 27th today. But the reason this is auspicious is because you'll be doing your first appearance in a little while.
Yeah, since September.
Be getting on a plane.
Yeah.
Are you cautious? Are you trepidatious? Are you excited to get back out?
I absolutely don't want to go.
But don't you think that once you do, that it'll be yet another impediment that you remove from the process?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to train legs today either, but I brought my ass to the gym, so.
Well, but there's a lot of emotional stuff attached to this, right? Leaving home.
Yeah. I mean, I have to take a step outside of this 4-month comfort zone that I've put myself in. So.
I saw a tweet that you sent, or maybe it was Insta something, where you said you were feeling like you were kicking out finally.
Slowly.
It was a rather lovely photo. I'm feeling that maybe there was some filtering happening. You look like your complexion was like Cindy fucking Crawford in the thing. But you talked about feeling like you were kicking out a little, which is a positive.
You know, it's funny. Yeah, I'm a handsome guy.
Did you have some work done for this photo? What happened?
No, there was this fucking app on my phone, and it said it was. I don't know what it was, but you could use it for fucking free for like one time. So you could go to all these different settings, and I picked what was it, like movie star. And when
Lonnie Anderson.
When I hit movie star, that's what it gave me. It made me look like that. So
yeah,
I left it. Yeah, I don't have a fucking wrinkle around my eyes.
But my point was the kicking out comment. This is all maybe kind of funneling toward you getting out of the house, doing some appearances, meeting
Well, yeah,
the
that's
general
why.
public.
I mean, that's why I did what I did with that shot, because God forbid if fucking somebody was to see a close up of what I look like, they'd be like, I don't want to go see that motherfucker looking like that. Fucking look like Karloff today.
So all the guys with belts will feel that they're going to meet a very touched up and rather lovely looking Kevin Nash at.
Fucking, I haven't seen the sun in 4 months. I haven't been outside in the sun, nothing.
Really?
Nah. I've been this white since I was born.
Well, you'll give us a full report. I hope it goes well.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, man, it's just, bail.
If it goes, well, if it's a positive and you come back and you felt good to get your toe in the water again, then we'll talk about some live shows again, maybe, and some live Kliq Thises.
Yeah, but I've got. Once I get through this one, I've got like 2 or 3 a month for up until May, and then I think at that point, I know Tamara's taking a cruise with her girlfriend for a couple of weeks, so I'll be hanging out watching the dog. So
it sounds like our appearances are going to be at your house. So we're just going to invite people over.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Follow the Daytona police cruiser, and you'll find Kevin's house. But anyway, I think it's a good thing, Kevin. I think that on a serious note, you do kind of eventually have to see the sun, to use a metaphor. And
but the thing is, I don't need to.
You don't? Do you always know what you need? Does one always know what one needs?
The reason I go, okay, let me put it this way.
I don't mean money. I don't mean money.
Well, I'm just saying, though, that that's how if I'm leaving my home, I'm going to work. And my upbringing is, if you're going out the back door to go to work, it's to get paid. It ain't to, I don't do charity bullshit, none of that. I'll write a fucking check.
Well, you do this show. But yes, of course you're going to be paid, and you'll be paid your fee. But I'm saying the need, not from that, the need to be among your fan base.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
I mean, and those things are I mean, they're fucking. It's not. People think that interacting with human beings for 5 hours, especially when you haven't. Interacting with human beings for 5 hours, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, fuck, man, I'll be exhausted.
Yeah. But hopefully a sense of normalcy returns.
And the last time I did Pensacola was with Scott. It's just it just never ends. It just never fucking ends.
Well,
at least I know a great sushi place downtown. So
good.
If the storms didn't destroy it, or
we have a live audience. I should tell everyone listening. Tonight is one of the nights that people get to watch us record our show live. They get to sit in our production meetings. If you want to be a part of that, you should join ad-free shows. Our uplifting production meetings where we go over all the successes that our show has had recently. And Josh, Henne, shouts you out. Baby steps, Big Kev. We love to be Kevin's charity case. Grass from Mark. So if you want to be part of the folks that are sending in these comments, do so on it.
No, it's not like I don't sit in my house with fucking shoe boxes, not shoe boxes, but Kleenex boxes on my feet, and watch fucking Ice Station Zebra over and over like Howard Hughes.
Let me see your fingernails. All right.
I go to the gym every day. I just I don't know. This is comforting too. It's nice to fucking like really know what's, because people always say, "Oh, you only are." I can't believe that you're only listening to broadcast news as your only source of news. Man, I've been down so many fucking rabbit holes on so many different venues to get information. And the one thing I'll say is this. Everybody's got an opinion. Nobody's opinions fucking match up. You can punch holes in everybody's shit. It's like, I just don't have, I don't care to be, like, I don't need to be right. I don't need to be right. When people come back and they'll say something, what that actually was, like the guy I said something about casualties of war, and some guy said, no, that was Platoon. I said, no, there was a rape scene in Platoon, and Charlie Sheen breaks it up. The fucking plot line of Casualties of War was they raped the girl,
right?
And he went back to the fucking.
That was the Michael J. Fox one, right? With
I said that was that. I said there's a difference between a scene and the plot line. So how about doing me a favor and shutting the fuck up, because you don't know dick. You haven't even seen the other movie probably. So just shut the fuck up, because that's what I do. If I don't know, I don't guess. It's not fucking Match Game. Just shut the fuck up.
You sent me on this rabbit hole last night with Peter Zahan. He's like what do you call him, geopolitical analyst.
Yeah,
And so I learned why China has less than 10 years left as a civilization last night on Rogan's show. But it was good. It was.
It's well thought out and well played, except how many fucking fistfights has that guy been in?
Well, because today in the competition for ideas, you have. But listen, he's very. This isn't just like news bite spewing. I think the clip I saw was about 40 minutes on Rogan. Then there was another one that I watched him on. It was an hour and 9 minutes. So these are very in-depth discussions. If you're used to the very cursory kind of snippet delivery on the cable news channels, this isn't for you. But what I do enjoy about it, and I like listening to Rogan anyway, but it's a real discussion. It's real talk. And this dude, this Zahan guy, he must be impossible to live with, just with all the fucking data that he's got and all the. He was in the China. I don't want to go into the whole thing, but in the China episode, he starts with Rogan just asked a simple question. He goes, "When you say they got less than 10 years, what are you talking about?" And that's it. He's off to the fucking races, and it starts with the ageism and like the how we had the baby boomer. I won't call it a crisis, but the baby boomer spike here and the taxing of the system.
But it was a crisis because we didn't have the infrastructure, we didn't have the school systems, we didn't have the hospitals, we didn't have housing. I mean, it was, everybody came home and I made reference to this, is our population increased by a third.
Right.
That's huge.
And China was I think he said 1 decade behind on that, and they're hitting it now. And so the weight's going to fall on all, and there's not enough young people in the workforce. By the way, he said they overcounted their population by like 100 million or something like that.
Yeah.
So all of their statistics, and they did the one child thing for a long time. They don't have enough people to support.
Do you remember
what it's going to cost
there for a while
that
there were several different specials that they showed, these gigantic, the size of Seattle cities that they had built that not a human being lived in, malls with fake Nike signs. And it was, and what I took from that was, because you can't have investments in China, you can invest in real estate. You can invest in, the mother country. So, and lately I've been watching on Instagram, and it looks like fucking somebody decided to like restart Vegas. I mean, it's fucking imploded building after imploded building, and it's like a block of 10 go, then another. So, and no matter how you look at it, there was absolutely economic growth due to that construction. Mm-hmm. So if that, now that's gone. So I mean, they're
for a stretch. It was one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, and I don't know the plateau. I don't know county wise what kind of a weird layout there, right? Because you've got the insular city, but then it just kind of the rings started expanding out around it, and it was massive. I mean, the spread was massive over the last 20 years, and so you're saying because of the slowdown in physical growth.
Yeah, because
it's taxing the workforce.
They've got if you look at the statistics, it's 1.2 male to every 1 female, which doesn't really do well for population.
Oh, you're in China.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing too, and he was talking about this with the one-child law.
I'm talking about these, Sean. These cities are everywhere in China, and I'm saying they're the size of Seattle, and there's nobody that's ever lived in them, and they just imploded like a bunch of them in the last 2 or 3 years. It's unbelievable, and I'm just like, how do you fucking fudge that in your books, unless you're.
Well, it was like he said. They there you go.
There's the one guy that lives there. They call him the Omega Man, Charlton Heston. Fucking Charlton Heston.
I thought you were talking about Vegas proper, which is a different story.
It's just unbelievable. And you look at these things, and you say like,
how do you miscount your population by 100 million people? Was it falsified data to?
At 100 million, come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
and then the male to female ratio.
Me personally, I just want 11,383 votes. That's all I'm looking for.
Just looking for. I'm looking for.
I'm not looking for 100 million. I'm looking for 11,000 and change.
Go find them.
So, that's just me.
Feedback from last week. Let's hear what are on people's mind. What's on Thomas Johnson's mind is, he says, these shows have become therapy to add on to my real therapy. Since episode 1, I've been on the journey week by week. I take something away to apply to pressuring myself. Thank you, fellas. And fans are grateful for you guys. Much love. Thank you, Thomas.
Thomas, I think that it's mutual. I think that
the Mutual Therapy Society.
Yeah, I think it is the Mutual Therapy Society.
Dwayne Menzies says,
I tell you one thing. My fucking big ass takes a fucking Xanax, and I don't have any problem with my diction tonight because my brain is slowed down.
For the record, there's no stuttering. I'd like to point that out.
No, somebody said the other day that like it bothered me, and I'm thinking to myself, you really think that? And they said what was the other one? The guy said I was breathing really loud during the.
During a spot, right? During a commercial,
like
through the backyard butchers.
Yeah. You come down here, motherfucker, wash your car. I don't know where you live. Probably up there where I watch Al Roker go. And if you're out here, if you're outside for fucking a minute, you die. It's already fucking 85 down here. You wash your car, by the time that fucking gimmick at the end, that the soft one that dries your shit, by the time that motherfucker's off and you pull out, you stop at that stop sign, you got pollen on your shit. I mean, fuck. Unbelievable. I can't, listen to this. That ain't Coke, man. That's fucking pollen.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like, Jesus.
You know what make you feel better? A Buddy Rich solo. Don't you think? Don't you think it's time for a Buddy Rich solo?
Only if he'd fucking, I wonder if he'd fucking be able to stretch my prostate and fucking bang on it.
If anyone could.
Oh, that right there would be perfect.
A little massage.
A little needle.
Bend over.
Buddy, I'm almost there.
I smell clams. Bend over. How intense that motherfucker. Feeling it, Kev? You feeling it, Kev?
I'm almost there. Go, buddy.
Blue Chew.
Nah, I said right there. I wanted to hear some. I wanted to hear Eddie Van Halen cut in. What I do?
Oh, let's see. Who are we here? Jerome Manley says the moment you get Kevin's sense of humor, the laughter's contagious.
So in other words, don't wear your seatbelt. Go through the glass. Take a fucking traumatic brain injury. You're fucking on core with me.
You're right on par with Big Kev.
You know, tonight's show is about as anti-Sorkin as any show we've ever done.
We'll see. It's early. We've already had a good soundtrack, courtesy of one of the greatest drummers to live.
Yeah.
The Xanax is kicking.
Yeah, Xanax is definitely kicking.
We're off the stuttering. Get to that 9 billion in just a little bit. But Jerome, I will say that yes, Kevin's a unique personality. That's why the podcast works. He's a unique personality. And yeah, the minute you get a sense of humor, it all seems to work. Will Verna says, Zamboni driver in Boston here. Had to chime in about drummers. And yes, Buddy Rich is God. Neil Peart and obviously Bonham. As far as more modern, it's hands down Danny Carey from Tool. He's head and shoulders above everyone else. Honorable mention, Vinnie Paul from Pantera. Always love the show, fellas. Kevin, keep going, man. Forgot to mention Bill Ward. I put that note in. I didn't mention Bill Ward a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about great drummers. And that Sabbath sound was huge. They were like fucking cannons going off before Oz and Geezer and Tommy.
We used to have an ongoing thing, me and T, every time we heard the song Crazy Train. And we always tried to picture if Ozzy Osbourne is fucking basically on the PA system and he's telling you that fucking they're going off the rails on his Crazy Train, what kind of trouble are you in at that point? I mean, could that be as bad as it gets? Hey, this is Ozzy, and we're going off the rails.
Yeah.
Whoa, fuck, man.
When Ozzy says, this shit's getting fucking bad now, take his word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, East Palestine bad, Dom. You got that.
Fucking hell.
User ID says, literally in tears laughing at the point where Kevin stated he didn't want to play the Guess the Wrestler segment after calling NAILZ a pedo. The podcast truly makes a Monday. Thanks, you guys. I wish I could read all these. It's such great feedback we get. positive. Love that somebody put over the What Worker game. Like Locomotive Lung, who says, can't wait for the next What Worker segment. You only have 10 minutes, Locomotive, for that. Best segment, Kevin. Best segment, he said. Locomotive Lung. Apologies to NAILZ, he said, but that's a solid guess based on the evidence.
It's not. The guy wasn't a pedophile. It was horrible.
No, but the wrestling part of it, he's saying that was... what was it? NAILZ's name was Kevin Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah. He... I
remember when the Steiners first came up to WWF, and they were in Green Bay, and I guess they did something. They fucked NAILZ. Either he came back positive on a piss test or something, and fucking he yelled out really loud, "You tried to grab my cock!" And it was just him and Vince in the room, and they came in, and he was choking Vince out.
Oh yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, and this is like the Steiners' first night. I'm talking to Robbie. I'm like, "Hey Robbie, how's your first night?" He's like, "What the fuck?" I said,
"What was that? What was that? It was overpay. What was that over?
Either pay or they you know, he was dirty, and they took him on the smoke.
Yeah, but why go after Vince for that? You fucked up. Crazy one.
Hey guys, need to call a quick timeout here. Wanted to tell your listeners what I've been telling my listeners over at OU didn't know for a while now about all the cool things happening over at adsfreeshows.com.
An all-new mailbag series debuts later this month on Ad-Free Shows as we pick the brain of a man who has spent 40-plus years in the wrestling business. Longtime WCW and WWE referee Nick Patrick answers your questions.
And Kurt Angle, where you get here on it? Or me on? No, it ended up being my own blood. Austin had the title. It had the little jagged edges on it, right? And they had a deal where Angle pulled me in, and I took the belt shot.
A little bonus content comes your way, courtesy of The Kurt Angle Show. A dream match became a reality back in 2016 as Kurt Angle squared off against Cody Rhodes on the Independents. For the first time, Kurt watches back his match against the American Nightmare.
This kid's really talented.
He's selling the ankle here on the leapfrog, went down on it awkwardly. He's outside the ring talking to the referee. This is, like you said, all part of the match plan. Hey, start to show that weakness in the ankle.
Yeah. This was his idea to make it look like he hurt his ankle so that when he did lose, he had something to gripe about.
Ad-free show members have chatted one-on-one with AEW stars like Eddie Kingston, Dax Harwood, Ricky Starks, and many more, including a recent live interactive session with Renee Paquette.
He still continues to do that. He's on commentary in AEW. I think it was cool for him to kind of put on that analyst hat and get to kind of test out those waters a little bit. But end of the day, it was a thing that I think made him feel like, you know what? Wrestling can be okay again. I can have fun in the wrestling space again. And now we have CM Punk wrestling. So you're welcome.
That's just a small taste of what we got waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from, see for yourself why Ads-Free Shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adsfreeshows.com.
The real D Cobb is pointing out to me, he says, near Roswell, Sean, do you realize that Roswell is in southern New Mexico, right? It's like a 13-hour drive from Nellis Air Force. I must have said that the Roswell incident was near the Air Force Base, Area 51, where it was housing the wreckage from that. So, okay, so nearest Air Force Base, can I say that? Would that be correct? It's not like the Roswell incident sent the fucking debris to Brazil. It was a fucking state away. So it wasn't nearby.
How about that fucking thing I sent you the other day?
Oh, my God. What? There was a, it's on Insta. I don't know where you could find it, what the thing was. It's a car passing in the opposite direction of a flatbed. And that was, I guess it was a trailer, right? It was pulling. I don't know how to describe what it was. It was like a half a disc. Metal disc, massive.
Wasn't some communications?
I'm going to say it was a weather device.
Shit.
A slow-moving, high-altitude, undetectable weather device that went down somewhere.
I saw that, and I said, "What the fuck?"
I mean, it looked legit. I mean, the guy was just on the road and just.
Then again, who knows? Maybe Universal Studios has got some new fucking UFO thing, and they think they're sending. That was always one of the things. I know I've said it before, but so you buy a mobile home, and you put it out on your property. You get a 40-mile-an-hour wind, and that fucking thing is destroyed. You take half that motherfucker, put cellophane on one side of it that's open, drive it down the highway at 80 miles an hour, that motherfucker doesn't get touched. Like, what's the physics on that? It has to like get into the soil of Kentucky first before it turns into a piece of shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't know why I said Kentucky. My mom was born there.
Just pulled it out of the blue.
Well, it wasn't like I just remember going to my mom's to Paducah. She actually lived in Ledbetter, but Paducah was the biggest, and there was. Let's just say there wasn't really strict zoning back in the early '60s. So.
Hey, your buddy Sizemore's in the hospital. Did you hear?
Yeah. Doesn't look good either.
Fuck, man. Aneurysm.
Yeah.
And has anything changed? It's been 2 days, right?
Talking about a guy that can talk 1977 NBA hoops. That motherfucker. Him and I sat down first night we met, and we were talking.
What was the film?
Oh God, we did 2 straight to DVD. I think one was called Blood Circus and one was called.
I know we covered it in another episode.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we won't talk about it again. We're going to talk about it.
It was great. It was great working with him.
Yeah.
The thing was, he was going through a lot of problems, personal problems. But just Detroit guy, and just sat down and it was like 2 Detroit guys talking. Next morning, they sent me up to get him. He's got a couple of hookers in the room.
Did he?
Yeah, and I always had some because I was still working. I always would have 8 Vicodins. I can't take them, but if you get fucked, I'd rather have a Vicodin to take than fucking, going up to CVS and getting an Aleve. And they were always scripted. And this motherfucker was jonesing, man. I said, hey, you want a couple of Vikes? I got him some coffee and a Vike, and he took a shower, threw the broads out, and I showed up to set with him. We were supposed to shoot at like 8 a.m. It was like 2 in the afternoon. But I was the hero.
But you were the Tom Whisperer.
Yeah, I was the hero. Fuck, man. And the thing was, he fucking got out. They fucking he looked at his sides. They fucked around, put a little bit of makeup on him. He went out, fucking first scene, just boom, nailed it. Just
nailed
bam.
it, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's why guys like him and Downey Jr., who was always known to have issues, but he did the work. They made the day. It was never like a problem. And I guess that's a worse problem sometimes because it doesn't force anybody's hand to put him in a program or something. I had a call to replace him to do ADR for him. He was in jail, I guess, at the time. It was after that weird thing where he broke into the house. Wonder Boys, I think it was called, the Michael Douglas thing. Mm-hmm. There was just a few lines I would have had to do to replace. But they let him out. They like fucking put him in the shackles. He went to the studio, did his 6 lines into the mic, and he went back to jail. That's Hollywood prison for you. But okay, so best wishes to Sizemore. I hope.
Yeah, please, Tom, get well.
I hope it goes a different way. Talented motherfucker. Yeah, troubled. But what was that series? Didn't they do a series on VH1 about him?
Yeah, it was with him and Heidi.
It was like deconstructing his.
It was based on Sizemore, but Like, he was with, you know, it was during that Heidi Fleiss and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all right, so hang in
I've
there,
never,
Tom.
it's crazy. You know, I've never been able just to. I guess I've never been an addict. Number one, so that's probably +1. But I've just never been able to just like not get up. Like there's no. I mean, I might fucking if partied hard, and I might not get out of bed till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm getting out of the bed. I'm taking a shower. I'm going downstairs, and I'm gonna immediately start taking some kind of hydration to see if I can get hydrated enough to get a workout in before the day is over. Because I've got 24-hour gyms and everything else. It's just like I always, if I fuck up, I'm always trying to save that next day, like because I know I got my workout in the day before. Boom, and it's just like let me see if I can save today. Like today, I had a bunch of shit I had to do. I was trying to come up with some ideas for this.
Went well.
I mean, just we've got too much, but that's all, folks. But I've just never had, and to see those people that just go on these 5 and 6 day benders. It's just like, fuck. Like I could never, if I was hungover, the last thing I wanted was fucking alcohol.
Mm.
And Scott was a complete opposite.
Right. But that's an addict.
He'd wake up and we'd get on a plane, man, and he'd be like screwdriver. Double screwdriver with a splash. And he would fucking kick out.
What stretches was Scott straight? Like, what's the longest that you were around him where he didn't touch anything?
He wasn't. It was not at all. Our first run in WCW when we were Oz and Diamond Stud, we smoked pot. We didn't even drink.
Mm.
Then when we went to, he went a year earlier than I did to WWF. And did the razor gimmick. Scott, of course, they took the smoke away. So that's when everybody went to alcohol and pills.
Mm.
Because there's just no way you can work 300 days a year on IcoPure. So,
Oh, you remember IcoPro, huh?
yeah.
Did you have to take that shit?
We didn't have to. It was fucking free.
Right.
When you ain't getting paid dick, a free protein drink tastes pretty fucking good.
It washes down those bologna sandwiches pretty good.
I always thought that they didn't market it right when it was fucking Uncle Ed's ass was the flavor, but who am I to say?
They should have just gone with strawberry.
Yeah.
Chocolate. Chocolate mousse. But so that was the one time, the longest time that you knew that.
And then
before.
And then when he was Razor, though, he wasn't like we'd get fucked up here and there. But man, Scott was going fucking 25, 30 every night with Shawn Michaels, and they were tearing it down. So I mean, they just and we just drank beer. We weren't drinking liquor. We were drinking. We would get a couple of cases of beer, put it on ice, and drive to the next fucking town and talk business. And it was, we were all.
But that wasn't the Soma era?
It got towards, I would say, by the time I was IC champ, the fucking Somas were pretty. Somas had made the.
When did you fall asleep on the speaker at the club? Literally, the speaker blasting.
That was in Israel.
Oh, it was overseas. Okay.
Yeah.
But that era, the title run.
Yeah, but between it was like my Triple Crown year. And the thing with my wife told me, like she said with the Soma, she said you gotta. And I woke up at fucking the Diamondbacks baseball game, and you know, there was my wife, me, and one guy still fucking behind home plate, fucking in the stand, sweeping. My wife did that. He's diabetic. And I went home, fucking dumped what I had in my fucking pouch, went underneath the sink, looked at those motherfuckers, and said, "Phew." And I had big jars that I'd fucking, you know, had guys smuggle up from Mexico, and I dumped, you know, 100 at a time. I was back there for about 6 hours.
No. Were they the same potency when you got
No, fuck no, man. You could take 6 of those Mexican ones on a Thursday night and get nothing, and then take 4 the next night. And
gone.
Yeah, it'd be like somebody fucking shot you in the back of the fucking head. Yeah, not exactly quality control, but you know.
Well, that was a
$2 a soma. You can't fucking bitch.
You can't go wrong.
No.
That was. Let me tell you, all this talk, 9 billion, 8 billion, whatever gets me excited talking about money, but not nearly as excited as when I think about Backyard Butchers and the meat that I get. The meat. Give us some breathing. That made the spot for somebody this week. As if he could smell it on the grill.
Luke, I'm your butcher.
I'm your butcher. Quality steak at last, guys. Free shipping, quality steak, period. Backyard Butchers restaurant quality steak boxes are now available online. Get steakhouse quality bulk meat specials responsibly sourced from American farms delivered right to your door. And right now, for a limited time, Backyard Butchers is offering our listeners 15% off plus free shipping, plus 4 free ribeyes for life with every subscription. Imagine open up that box of quality steak, being able to recreate the steakhouse experience right there in your backyard at less than grocery store prices. That's exactly what you're going to get when you order from Backyard Butchers. I got my box. I knocked out those filet mignons the first week, had the burgers the second week. I actually still have a couple of steaks upstairs, the ribeyes that I got to throw on. Tremendous. If you cut out the middleman, those grocery stores, you're going to get American beef, pork, chicken sourced from farms all across the heartland of America, and cheaper because you've cut out the middleman. That's what this is about. They're safely packaged, delivered to your door in an eco-friendly insulated box. Their boxes are packed and specifically designed to keep your meat within the optimal temperature range. They've studied this. They know what they're doing. There are no memberships or subscriptions necessary. You can, if you choose to subscribe, you can cancel at any time, but try them once and you're going to want to subscribe, okay? And we're going to help you for a limited time. Backyard Butchers are offering listeners of the podcast a special introductory deal. Get that 15% off, free shipping, and 4 free ribeyes for life with every subscription, okay? Don't wait. Go to backyardbutchers.com and use promo code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q. Get 15% off your order, free shipping, and 4 free ribeyes for life. Backyardbutchers.com, promo code KLIQ. Thank you, Backyard Butchers. That was your crazy train.
Yeah.
You know what was a crazy train this week? Our president took a 20-hour train ride into the Ukraine.
This motherfucker is like born.
And not Matt Bourne, I'm assuming.
No,
he doesn't have makeup behind his ears.
This is Jason Bourne. This motherfucker. So the first story comes out about this. Granted, I'm not up fucking milking the cows, so I'm not getting the 6 a.m. fucking call on this, but it's clandestine. This has not been done since Lincoln / FDR, but Lincoln, taking the train, and FDR taking the flights to meet with Churchill to plan for the demise of the German Empire. So these two, side by side, these just clandestine fucking journeys And, you know, I'm like, fucking Biden took a 10-hour, God, man, that's pretty fucking ballsy. It's not like fucking like anybody says, you know, we're going to fucking have to make a run for it. Not like that motherfucker with that Gates going anywhere. You better put him on a fucking stretcher and pull him. So then as the day goes on, I hear, and of course they talk to the, you know, smarten the Russians up that Biden was on the train. I'm like, what? What do you mean they smarten it? But so in other words,
The clandestine train that the Russians were told about.
they're told about, like, hey, we know you're not real good at your fucking logistics of fucking where you land shit, so please don't hit this fucking train. Because we got 3 submarines just right off off your fucking coast, waiting to fucking dump Trident missiles fucking all day long. So,
I wonder if that's one of those rules of well, you can't call it a war, rules of conflict, where you've got to.
I think it's called a rule of work. Brother, brother, don't grab my left ankle. It's fucking sore. Gotcha.
Make sure the butcher for Sean, the man to pull the right one, Kev. Right.
So
Biden's on this train.
Yeah, Biden's. So then we get to Kyiv, and as they're marching around, you know, and seeing everything, and blah blah blah. Oh my God! Can you imagine what are the chances that the air raid signal is blaring the whole time, but nobody's selling it? We're supposed to think in our subconscious, we're supposed to think, wow, it's so every day around here with these air raids that they're no selling it.
It's part of the day, right?
And it's like, no, fuck that. That air raid, hey, don't be alarmed. We're going to fucking, for effect, we're going to put the air raid on. You know that's exactly what that is. Then we go back to take the clandestine return ride to Warsaw in front of 30,000 people. Looks like a fucking a cut screen from a fucking cutscene from a fucking video game.
Biden's arrival in Poland,
He hits a home run. Fucking at the same time, Putin's fucking hitting a home run with 53 standing ovations. And I'm thinking to myself, like,
it's like building an angle, right?
yeah, like they did it perfect. It was the only thing missing was Gene in the middle doing the face to face. I mean, I was just like,
it's. I mean, we're joking about a lot of it, but it's a fucking mess. Right?
oh, I mean, Russia has declared war on us.
As far as Ukraine goes, Crimea's just gone, right? We were talking about this earlier. So
Yeah,
this is just like, it's not the fight for Crimea. It's preserving what's left.
I can't see him getting Crimea back.
And the troops we're down to desperate measures in the Ukraine here, right? What's the statistic you saw on the fighting life of a Ukrainian soldier?
Well, this is of any Marine in that region. I'm not sure if it doesn't include the Wagner group and anybody else, but you got about a 4-hour window once you fucking engage of life expectancy.
That's fucking amazing.
So
horrifying.
You know, the thing is too is like I watched like a guy went down the rabbit hole last night on YouTube and got some very I would say very political right ex-military people that basically were saying there's no way we're giving them the M1 tanks that we have, so they're going to get downgraded. And they haven't like made ammunition for that specific tank in quite some time. So like all these spare parts and all this ammunition, it's like when they started off and we gave them like fucking, you know, I don't know how many javelins we gave them. And, you know, a javelin basically what it is it's shot from your shoulder, but as it takes off, it goes up and then comes down, and it's to go through the very thin armor on the top of a turret. They found that they also worked very well at taking out the trucks that they were pulling the tanks, because they didn't have fuel to pull the tanks. So what they were doing was they were taking out the Russian trucks and then pilfering the tanks for parts, or actually for the tanks.
Just stranding the
Right.
transport of the tank, yeah.
Right. But at the same time, if you don't have the fuel, the ammunition, the ability to keep these things, you know, operating, they're fucking useless. And it's so we say that we're going to give the Abrams, and then the Germans say, okay, well, we'll give the Leopards, and then the U.S. says, well, we're not going to give you the M1A2s, we'll give you this one, and then the Germans say, well, fuck, we're not giving them that Leopard, but there's 88 Leopards around Europe that we've given to other countries. You can have those motherfuckers, except there's really not that much ammo for them. So it's just like this. And which, you know, the only time Mitch McConnell has anything to say during all of this, he hasn't said a word, but like 2 days ago he just said, well, you know, it doesn't really matter. You just need to get it to them now.
Now I saw that, yeah.
In other words, like, the one thing you can't do is deliver, so now it's time for fucking you to deliver. And it's like, oh, fuck. What an absolute clusterfuck.
And are we at a year? We're almost at a year, right? We're there?
Yeah. I think in several, they want to have, I can't think of it, it's like Bannerhof or whatever, they want to take that on the anniversary of 1 year, whether they take it or not. They're gonna proclaim that they take this, and the thing was, they called this city the meat grinder, and it has basically no military significance to either side. It's almost like that movie Hamburger Hill. They're just gonna fight, meat grind it out, and then 3 weeks later they're going to go, okay, we don't need Hamburg, we don't need, you know, Hill 55 anymore. Let's just move on. So,
you mentioned Hamburger Hill. That was, I thought, the best of the Vietnam. There were a handful that came out at the same time. Casualties of War. This is all late '80s, right? Casualty of War, Platoon, the Kubrick, Full Metal Jacket, Hamburger Hill. I like Hamburger Hill the best. It didn't get nearly the push that the others got.
Here's one for you. Do you know that Full Metal Jacket was shot entirely in London?
Exteriors, too?
London area. Kubrick never shot anything outside of London.
Right.
Except maybe the moon shot. Oh!
That could have been. That was at Area 51. They flew him in. They put him on a clandestine train.
You
actually,
do know that was a 13-hour train ride.
13-hour ride, exactly. Nowhere fucking near.
Nowhere
Roswell.
near. And the son of a bitch didn't listen that we were actually talking about the second incident that happened in Roswell, Georgia. So,
oh right.
You got to listen on this show. We switch shit up.
Travis Kelce
keeps the pedophiles on their toes.
You know, the funniest line ever uttered, I think I texted you this after the show. I don't know what it resonates with. I didn't react to it when you said it during the Buck Zumhoff segment last week, where I talked about, I don't know, somewhere he was in a stall in the bathroom, and you kind of just It was just a throwaway comment. You said, bring the radio in so you can't hear the children screaming.
That's pretty fucked up.
I should have put it over much more than I did. I was trying to go to sleep. I was falling out of the bed laughing like a fucking mental patient.
Well, that's what we are. So.
Travis Kelce's going to host Saturday Night Live. So I read about all the other athletes that have hosted, and I was very surprised by some of this list, and now I have to go find, like, for example, they're the ones that are obvious, like Tom Brady. I'm sure Tom Brady hosted probably more than once. Peyton and Eli Manning, Joe Montana, Bill Russell. How about him in a few Saturday Night Live sketches? He had that infectious laugh. It could have been funny. I have to find it now. Gretzky.
He did one?
Yes. These are other athletes that have hosted the show. Bill Russell, Gretzky, Chris Everett, Michael Jordan, I can see that. Barkley, I could see that. Jeter, Derek Jeter. What was it, 1979? Give me the date on that. Yeah, scroll up a little more. There it is, 1979, November 3rd, 1979. There's O.J. Simpson with a cone head.
The Bruno Maglias.
Exactly. Let's DNA test that fucking head and see if that was on the scene. Ronda Rousey, LeBron James. I saw John Madden. See, that's a great... That would be a great selection. If I had to pick athletes that I thought would have successfully hosted Saturday Night Live, I think Madden would be on there.
You could have put him with Farley and got something great out of it.
That would have been, right.
And that's just, I mean, I didn't see.
He was actually, 82, so that would have been, that would have predated that. But yeah, he would have been great in sketches like that. OJ, we just saw. OJ was probably great. He did have good comedic timing.
He was actually from Naked Gun.
Naked Gun series. He was good in that. Bob Uecker, I'm sure he was there at some point, right? Bob Uecker.
Pretty damn good timing with a Marine killing knife too.
Yeah. There it is. Okay, 84, so Uecker.
Uecker was great.
Yeah. How about Kevin Nash? Could Kevin Nash have hosted Saturday Night Live?
I would crush that fucking show.
We should make a push. That schedule's insane. The Saturday Night Live schedule. They opened a thing in Manhattan a few years ago, a Saturday Night Live installation where you went in, you could walk through the old sets, and you saw just memorabilia, costumes and stuff. But the stuff about the work week was insane. So the show Saturday night, nobody really works on Sunday. Monday, people just kind of informally trickle in whenever they can get in, and they start just talking about sketches. Tuesday, the writing starts happening, right? Wednesday, now they have to order these sets. These sets are built elsewhere. I think it's in Jersey. And they get carted in on like Friday. So you need to have the schematic measurements, all the shit, so that sets are built on Wednesday and Thursday so they can be put on the elevator, in the freight elevator, loaded onto the into the studio on Friday. They rewrite up until the last writing meeting, which is like 7:30 or 8 o'clock on Saturday night. They all get together back in the big room where they all sit around and they rework stuff. They cut stuff, add stuff. So so they don't really finalize the show until like 8 or 9 o'clock on Saturday. And then you got to be ready to fucking go in 2 hours. The insanity of it. You'd probably do okay there. You'd be all right.
Worst you can do is fuck up.
I think the audience likes that. Those are those golden moments when they're off script and maybe.
Where did I see that they couldn't stop laughing the other day? I watched one.
A Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, and I don't know if it was a newer one. God, who was it? Oh, it was the. He's the cat that's on The Last of Us. The star on The Last of Us.
The horror film?
Yeah. The HBO show.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, he was laughing.
There was all right. It's time for the stiff one of the week. It is time for the stiff one of the week. Oh, there's just too much show. We're almost an hour, and I haven't even gotten to the goddamn stiff one of the week. Brought to you by our friends at BLUECHEW, folks. And when you hear stiff one, I'm sure you think BLUECHEW. You should. That's right. This segment is sponsored by none other than BLUECHEW. You know what we're talking about, guys. It's that confidence boost that BLUECHEW gives you, okay? It's the unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night. Plan ahead. Be ready when the opportunity arises, okay? The process, very simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. If you haven't done this yet, guys, you have nothing to lose. We're going to give you them for free. Hang on, and I'll tell you how to do that. Go to BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Best part, all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Tablets are made here in the USA, prepared and shipped directly to your door, and we are gonna let you try BLUECHEW for free. You just have to use the promo code NASH at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code NASH to receive your first month free. You don't need a problem to take this. This is just that confidence boost that when you're ready to go, nothing's going to get in your way. You'll be rock hard and swinging. BlueChew.com for details and important safety information. We thank BLUECHEW for always sponsoring our stiff one of the week. Now, this one, I may have to educate some of our audience as to who Al Goldstein was. Al Goldstein was the editor of Screw magazine and a bit of a character himself. Screw magazine, for anyone who didn't know, it covered the adult film industry. And so Al Goldstein, if you were in Manhattan and you turned on your public access cable in the 90s and in the 80s, late at night, you'd run into Al Goldstein's show, Midnight Blue. Who did he have on? All misfits from society were guests on Midnight Blue, from porn stars to musicians to folk musicians. But he had a segment called the Fuck You of the Week, and I always envied this. Now, this is before podcasts and the Kevin Nash podcast and the Stiff one. He would go on, and whoever pissed him off that week in his life, he would go to a restaurant or a company. He would call them out on the air. And I loved that freedom, that power to be able to say, okay, you did me wrong. Here it is. So here's the Fuck You of the Week. He turns his sights to the Carlisle Hotel, and very specifically the maitre d' at the Carlisle Hotel, who was not treating him nice when he went to see Bobby Short, the jazz musician, at the Carlisle.
Bobby Short is a fine performer. The problem is that he works in a hotel, the Carlisle, on 76 and Broadway, that spits in the face of his performance. During his performance, the waiters go around. I mean, don't they respect performance? Most places will stop the service. They won't bring out coffee or food during the performance because it's intrusive. But the Carlisle is interactive. They want you to have a bad time. Their maitre d', who is really a French piece of shit, his name is Gerard Boutrell. We'll give you his phone number. When I went in there, he looked at me. I didn't slip him 20 or 50, so I got the worst seat in the place. Then I'm put in the corner. I can see the stage, but I'm off to the side. My seat was bumped by the waiters, the stupid third world nation waiters, 44 times. Going to the Carlisle is like trying to listen to music with a Walkman during a professional football game. You get hit, shoved, pushed. After the 10th push, I said, would you stop hitting my chair? They said, we have to deliver food. The Carlisle, you should be ashamed of yourself. You don't watch Midnight Blue. You don't wipe your asses. You're East Side important people. Al Goldstein's trash. Well, fuck you. What's your name again? Gerard. Gerard, please, would you out there do me a favor? Call Gerard. Make reservations for phantom guests. Gerard, I hope IRS investigates you. I'd like to know how much of your green money, of your tips you're paying and declaring. You are the typical piece of shit. Your arrogance comes from the fact that you're only a low-class food server and you're treated badly by the clientele, so you're going to treat them badly back. It's classic, and it doesn't work. You're nothing but a French snot. You probably have anal hairs clogged up with shit. You probably blow hippopotamuses. You are a turd, a turkey, and a piece of
There you go.
Now, I did not realize that he was way ahead of the curve, and he was imploding Chinese buildings.
He was imploding the empty, vacant Chinese buildings and
Back
basically
then.
doing a show like Kliq This.
Unfucking believable. I mean, you're talking about people that are just ahead of their time. That's just
Born too soon. All right.
So did anybody think that his fucking hair on top of his head was just still coming out in full color, and the rest of his? There's this thing going on that I've seen lately on the talking heads, and it's always the black talking heads. So there'll be a gentleman, and he'll have his hair will be dark, and then his beard will be dark to about here,
And then the bottom.
and then his bottom is gray, which goes against all Della Reese fucking. Remember when Della Reese grew her hair out for that show?
I know who Della Reese is. I don't know what show you're talking about.
Caught by an Angel or whatever.
Oh, Touched by an Angel.
Touched by an Angel.
Yeah.
She grew her hair out for like 5 seasons, and she just grew the shit out. I mean, it started here. I mean, these dudes have gray at the bottom. Like, so what? All of a sudden, like, this shit just came in dark. Like, what? Somebody has to walk me through that process. Is that like something that? I mean, I'm a white boy. I don't
Judge
know.
Mathis is rocking that right now. I caught him.
Am I missing something? Is this something I could be pulling off?
I don't know that you'd want to. I don't think it looks very good.
I think it may like give me kind of a hip hop Amish type feel.
I mean, if that's what you're going for, yeah, run DMC in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I suppose.
I mean, that way there, I just get a couple of horses, triangle, take my time.
So, Kevin, you didn't like Which Worker when we did it. So here's what I decided to do this week.
No, it wasn't that I didn't like it. I just thought maybe we could have opened with somebody that wasn't a fucking pedophile.
Well, what fun would that have been, first of all? And so what I have this week is I have a Which Worker, but I also have a Which Baller. So since we have a live audience, they can vote, throw in when they think they know who we're talking about for the Which Worker, and then we'll do the same for the Which Baller, and we'll see if Kevin can identify which NBA star I'm talking about from these clues. Let's do the Which Worker first. This individual was trained by Hiro Matsuda and Eddie Graham. He debuted in 1972. He played football at the University of Tampa.
Paul Orndorff.
No.
Okay.
Good guess, though. He was approached by Mike Graham.
Dick Slater.
To become a wrestler. And Kevin got it very early on. I was going to go on to say NWA Florida Heavyweight Champion, 2 times Florida Tag Team Champion, Florida TV Champion, Mid-South North American Champion, UWF TV Champion. Worked for WWE for less than a year. Appeared on Saturday Night's Main Event, Primetime, and Superstars. He was accidentally shot in the leg by Wahoo McDaniel as he was pistol whipping a man in a parking lot, and the gun went off and hit Dickie Slater on the other side of the lot. He apparently beat up John Matusak in a bar fight in Tampa. I found interesting. And, of course, we'll finish this as we do every week. Arrested for attempted murder for stabbing his girlfriend with a butcher knife. And if we can get a shot of Dirty Dick. Now, who was the rat? Who told me about it? It might have been Waltman a long time ago. Told me there was a rat that went by the name of Dick
No,
Slater.
We did. There was a rat in England that looked just like
In
Dickie
England,
Slater.
yes.
It looked like Dickie Slater. And so one time, Bam Bam brought her up to his room, and Tatanka and Waltman were eating their Chinese food, and they sat down in front of the room and listened to him romancing the stone. And they hear Bam Bam go, "There's some cold drinks in the fridge, honey." I mean, you're romancing the stone on Dickie Slater.
God help this woman. Steve, do you have I mean, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, imagine a woman coming up to you with. So that's Dickie in his good days. If that
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
The 5-star reviews are in, and it's confirmed SaveWithConrad.com can save you thousands. Jimmy E. writes that we saved his family more than $1,000 a month. James S. says we saved his family more than $1,200 a month. But how much can you save? It's free to find out right now at SaveWithConrad.com. But if you've got a second mortgage, if you've got credit card debt, or even worse, if you're in a 30-year loan, it's not a matter of if we can save you money, but a matter of how much at SaveWithConrad.com.
He was a tough son of a bitch, man. As Chief Jay Strongbow said, that man could walk alone.
All right, which baller? Ready?
Okay.
This you should hit this one. Attended UNC, North Carolina. Third all-time in team steals professionally with 1,041.
With where?
Well, I can't tell you the city. Are you?
Well, okay. So he's third. Now we're going to it. We went from North Carolina, so he's.
I just let you know where he played ball.
Okay, he's
in
third,
college.
He's third in steals
in the NBA.
And the NBA.
Yes. Career average was 17.6 points and 5 boards. He's a 3-time NBA champion, 7-time NBA All-Star. Retired in 94, and in 1990, before a game in Houston, was charged with 2 counts of solicitation of prostitution in a sting operation at about 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess as a pregame ritual. He was arrested after contacting escort service that police monitor and 2 of their vice officers respond. So he requested 2 hookers in the afternoon before the 7 o'clock game. I'll give you one more. This might give it away, though. 1982 first-round draft pick. Not the first pick, but first round.
All right. So he played for the Rockets.
It was an away game. The arrest in Houston. It was an away.
So he would have had to play with Chicago or Los Angeles to have 3 rings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Norm Nixon.
It was easier. It was James Worthy.
Oh.
But you got Los Angeles out of it. Any of our
God, I mean, it's so. He doesn't even register in my brain.
As what?
As that era. Like it's Kareem and Magic.
And Magic, right? It overshadows.
And it's Shaq and fucking Kobe.
Well,
you know what's amazing is Robert Horry has like 7 fucking rings.
Robert Horry. Yeah, I remember Robert Horry. But that Laker team, yeah, I mean, there were great players, irrespective. When you have stars like Magic, and it's tough to have. That was
Showtime. That was Norm Nixon. That was
Michael Cooper, even on defense.
Cooper was great.
He was great on defense. So, yep, Big James.
Horry was on that really good Alabama team that had like Sprewell and. I think they went to the Final Four.
What year would that have been?
God, I don't know.
Robert Horry was 90s, right?
Yeah.
Would have retired mid-late 90s.
I remember Horry hit that shot against Sacramento And then, like the next game, I think fucking Derek Fisher hit one to like they just crushed those fucking poor guys.
To your mind, is the WWE worth $9 billion? That's billion fucking dollars. Twitter, the Twitter purchase was 44 million. Billion, sorry, excuse me. Billion. 44. Which they talked about being an astronomical sum. But was still, I mean, Elon Musk would have paid about 8 times the EBITDA of Twitter, right, which is about $5 billion. So you figure $44 billion. So 8 times the revenue before taxes is fair. Usually a 10 times valuation. That's something like 23 fucking times the earnings. You just throw the number out, I guess. Maybe when you Vince, you can. Doesn't mean he's going to get it.
So, just so we have something to compare it to, I just looked up the brand valuation of the New York Yankees. Okay, so that comes with Major League ad revenue. Okay, that's part of the deal. Major League package. They have their own station. The Yankees, they have their own shit. They have their own so to me,
stadium, obviously.
Yeah, the stadium. What do you think that Forbes has their net worth at?
Well, you'd have to tell me what their earnings are, and I'll times it by 10, and I'll tell you what a fair valuation is.
I don't know what the fuck. I'm just pulled it up. On my
All right, I'll
computer.
go with. Oh God, if they cleared $1 billion, $10 billion.
6.
Which seems high. I was going to say 10 seems high, but so $6 billion.
So $6 billion. So would you rather have the WWE for $9 billion or the New York Yankees for $6 billion?
I'd have to look at earnings to make my decision. I have to see what they make clear. Will I make my money back in 10 years? I'll take whichever one. If I make my investment back in 10 years of revenue before taxes on WWE, I'll take that. If I make my money back in
Steve's hot. Steve's like, Yankees are a private organization. Yankees aren't for sale. I'm not saying they are, Steve. Fuck, I'm sorry.
What are you, a Phillies fan, Steve?
Yeah, the Yankees won't play in Saudi. Okay, I'm just trying to get some. $9 billion is I can't wrap my head around it, so I have to, fucking put something out there. I watched the other day on. This is the kind of things I do. I was taking my morning fucking deuce, and they had the new $170,000 Corvette up against a $400,000 McLaren. And what they did was they went down, the track, and then there were cones, so they had to go around the cones for maneuverability, and then fucking straight line back. And the McLaren, I'm thinking like, how much faster is it going to be in this? Jesus. It was like the McLaren was it looked like it was computer generated as opposed to that Corvette. Now, granted, you're dropping a $168 on the Corvette, and the base model is 109, and the McLaren is a true supercar, but still, it's like, fuck. Not that I would fit in either. So. I mean.
Well, but right. So it depends what you personally value in a car.
Right.
I mean, you just might want the flash of the look. How many of us are going to drive our fucking car like you just described? Right?
Me all the time.
Right.
Up and down the beach road.
Your point being?
Well, my point
what's
being,
worth,
okay, I mean, you when things become so ridiculously expensive, it was $6 billion a few months ago. Yeah, like what the? I mean, I've been following the stock. I've been doing my due diligence to what I can because I am invested into the company. So of course I want to make as much as possible. But
took a little ride the other day. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Topped out did you break 90?
I think it
the
did.
Other day. Yeah, it came back down.
Well, when it was at 66, the street said it was going to be 100. We'd go to 100.
Right. So knowing Vince McMahon as you do, right? Okay, there's the break on 90. Knowing Vince as you do, is he really intending to do this, or that $9 billion? Is that a figure that was thrown out to dissuade sales?
See, that's what I don't know. It's just like it's almost like I have no intention in selling my house. But if somebody called me up and said, I'll give you 3.5 for your house, I'm selling my house. Mm. But if you give me market value for it, it's like, no, man, just the pods sitting in front of my house with me fucking loading shit in that. That's a fucking $1 million right there.
You want me to pack this fucker up? That's $1 million.
Yeah, that's going to take a year off my fucking... I just lost a year of my life thinking about that.
Forget about the fucking value of the house. My packing is going to cost you $1 million.
Here's a good one I got the other day. Guy says to me, I was training chest, and he said, how many sets you got left on that? I said, fuck. I said, you can work in with me. So he says,
"What does that mean?" I'm not a gym rat. What does that mean? Working? You trade.
I'm doing incline bench presses on a Smith machine and cable crossovers. So I'm doing the cable crossovers first. So I'm basically pre-exhausting my pecs, so I don't have to fucking press as much on my beat up shoulders. So I've got 50 pounds on the flies, and I got 225 on the incline. So I'm going back and forth, and I'm just like, if you're wanting to do flies, jump in, because I'll be going over to do the Smith machine, and I really don't take much of a rest. I might take 45 seconds in between the superset. And the guy looks at me and goes, "No, I don't want to throw your middle-aged mojo off." And he's a younger guy. And
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, I know him. He's and I looked at him, I said...
Do you know him where he could fuck with you like that?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So I looked at him, I said, I won't even give you, like, a rebuttal or anything. I just want you to know how stupid that sounds. I'm 63. If I'm middle-aged, that means I'm going to live to 126. Dude, like, I'm not middle-aged. There's nothing like, you're middle-aged when you're fucking 37. That's when you're fucking middle-aged.
Right.
And people need to think about that out there right now.
Oh, I am.
You are
really
fucking middle-aged when you were 37. It's fucking downhill, my men. Thank God for BLUECHEW.
I was going to say, that should have been in the last commercial spot.
Jesus. You know what? Fucking all those fucking years, when you're hitting your, before Bob Dole was fucking selling boner pills, fucking there wasn't shit out there, man. Guys fucking with the fucking the pumps and all this shit. Thank God fucking my shit worked, Now I take a 5 milligram Cialis every morning when I get up, and then fucking hit the BLUECHEW when it's game time.
When it's go time. But the guys, I had Ron Jeremy on my solo podcast a couple of years ago, and I asked him, I said, did you guys from your generation, do you look at the young guys now that pop those before a scene as like a baseball player using performance-enhancing drugs? Like, is it to you like the old-school baseball players look at guys who are on the gas? And he first pointed out that he endorses one of those pills, so he can't answer honestly. But he said that it's done in, it's such a common thing now that it's silly to even look at it negatively. But I take my hat off to those guys who used to have to hammer home a couple of scenes a day.
They had a fucking, what they basically did was took the fluffer out of the equation,
Yes, but still, it's there's days, I'm sure it's just like, and if you were hitting it all week long, you did 3 or 4 films that week.
Guys never work like that. It's the girls that work like that. Guys don't work that. Guys are lucky to get a film a week.
But guys like Ron, the big names like that, they could have got
shit, I guarantee if you looked, I bet you he hasn't. If you looked at how many scenes he's done, you'd be amazed how few there are.
No way.
Yeah, I bet you there's not 1,000 scenes.
Now I have to research my buddy Ron. He's in prison for a very long time. Ron is.
Fuck it! I just heard he just got transferred to Buck Zumhoff's.
His cell block.
Yeah.
Well, he's safe because he's over 20 and covered with hair. The hedgehog is. Get back to the sale of WWE for a minute. I looked up the sales of some wrestling companies. Now these are all dilapidated. they weren't buying the Corvette that you were speaking of earlier, but still, by contrast, some of the numbers were kind of funny. WCW. Did you know WCW's purchase price when they sold?
2 or 3?
It was 3. Yeah. 3 million, not billion, everybody. Those of you that are younger, it was million back then. ECW they were already in bankruptcy court, so that allowed for an easy sale there. And I'll say this is my opinion after writing a book about this with Todd Gordon and looking at some bankruptcy filings from ECW in 2001, one in particular which listed WWE as a debtor for $500,000. So I wonder what that was all about. Get Todd as God on July 27th to find out. TNA sold to Anthem Sports. Now, when you were there well before this. This was late. I think this was probably 2017. You were long done there.
Yep.
Ring of Honor sold to Sing.
What did Anthem pay for TNA?
They never disclosed it. It was a private sale. So, but it included everything. I mean, it was the library, the name, some of the contracts. I guess there were some big names still there, so they purchased the contracts.
Wonder what Jeff made out of that whole fucking deal.
See, but wasn't he? It would be interesting to talk to him about this.
I never. My whole thing is, man, I'm just not one of those people that needs to fucking, I don't need to know what people make, and it doesn't matter to me. But I'm just
for a business story.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I know that it was his company, and then Dixie came in. I never knew the specifics on how the deal went down.
Well, but Jerry was in it too initially.
Yeah,
in its original incarnation.
With the girls dancing in the cages.
So what we talked in a previous episode about potential buyers, and there was like 5 or 6 that were always bandied about. The field has kind of narrowed. I keep seeing the same 3 here and there. That Liberty, that has the interest in Formula One racing, which thing I did know about that was they also have a majority stake in Live Nation, right? So one of the things I was looking at when I was looking at these companies like Comcast, which from a media standpoint would seem to be a good buyer, what experience do they have in live events? We were talking earlier today. Live event has to stay a major component of wrestling. Even for the broadcast, you can't have a half-full fucking arena in a WWE broadcast today.
Yeah.
You need to handle live shows still. So it would make sense if Live Nation's a part of that. Was it a 1/3 stake? Yeah. So still, they'd have that there. We have a live audience here. What do some of the fans think? Who do you guys think would be good buyers? Is everyone still awake out there? You need another Buddy Rich solo to wake you up? What's going on out there? So to me,
they're all dead.
David letting us know that Ron Jeremy claims he's done over 4,000 adult films. Probably 2 or 3 scenes per film. 12,000 scenes. The Hedgehog.
Yeah. I'll go on his credibility.
Disney as a buyer.
So was he saying that Ron Jeremy should buy the WWE?
That would be interesting. I don't think from prison he's got the clout any longer, but that would have been an interesting direction to take the company. Josh Henne saying that private is the best. Going private is the best option for them.
As long as you've got some place to fucking show that, you know. If you don't have access to your own, I mean.
David's saying Netflix to buy it and go full streaming. That's what Kevin suggested a few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago when we first talked about this.
I just thought it's the next progression. I mean, how many fucking television shows from Turkey and India, and can I watch badly dubbed in the course of a week before we get some fucking, you know, something on that motherfucker? Worth waiting. And I'll be the fucking judge of that motherfucker.
Bryant Haremza says move the content to Amazon Prime, drive people there. So I don't think Amazon. Did we hear Amazon as a potential buyer? I don't know.
Amazon actually, they had like it was huge what they had. No, their net was 11.3. Yeah, their net was 11.3 billion.
Right.
You look and they're wanting 9, not 6, 9
anymore. As of 2021, Disney had $15.9 billion in cash on hand. Forget about earnings. That was sitting in the bank. So that purchase could happen.
You know, every girl wants 9, but she settles for 6.
Settles for 6. But every guy's got 11, right? If you read Forum,
soft.
11 soft. So I don't know. I do. You know, the statement from Triple H this week, where he was asked at the press conference after Elimination Chamber about his opinion about the sale. And I think he's been quiet up to this point, publicly, through the whole...
Steve says Amazon's got $84 billion.
What do they even need WWE for? That point, fuck. But Triple H said that, what's this here? Amazon's cash on hand depending on the yeah, okay. So, Amazon had, as of 2020, $58 billion. The numbers we're talking about are just, they're not even real. $58 billion, $84 billion. What does it even mean?
Yeah, and how much of it is to go and take. I mean,
they don't need that headache.
No, they'd just rather park those fucking trucks all over the place. You can get in a wreck.
They don't need to run a fucking wrestling company. They already deliver the world to your house, and they have their
and have by far the best penis-shaped fucking rocket ship.
Amazon.
Yeah. My son wanted to kill him with a marine killing knife. When he showed up with that cowboy hat on, my son was like, I could cut his throat and fucking go right to bed.
That's right. They have Whole Foods now, so you can even get Whole Foods delivered.
Yeah, they fucked that up.
Amazon. Bezos, visionary.
Yeah.
But Paul said, Triple H said, that the sale of the company is of no consequence to him as long as he gets to continue doing what he's doing in creative. He said he has the best job on the planet, and he just wants to do that forever. How can he not have an opinion on the sale of that company? He's in the family, for God's sakes.
Well, I don't think that, obviously, he probably doesn't feel he has a vote. I mean, if it went from 6 to 9, I'm pretty sure that, they didn't rally around the flag and go, what we really need to do is prop this motherfucker up 33%.
Oh, he can't be having a good run of it. Oh my God, his wife leaves. Vince comes back. I don't envy his. I envy his position and the job he's got. And he's great at what he does, but
I know that he loves it. I know that. I mean,
the job, yeah.
But he also loves the industry. He absolutely loves the industry, and there's some people, man, that just absolutely love to make, to make film. They're put on this earth to make film, and that's what he's there to.
Absolutely, and the passion is genuine with him, but the family dynamic.
Yeah, but I mean,
is probably stepping all over the Steph left because
when was the last time WWE storytelling had anything that could touch the emotion with the Sami Zayn situation?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not saying he's not succeeding. That's not my point at all.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, if he's been given a chance, I think the first episode that we did, and Wesley says Hogan Savage. The last, when he first took over, and I just said he's got a blank canvas. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Paul paints.
Yes,
and he fucking, I think it's a work of art. He's done a very good job, and he's brought. I actually have watched that. The things that fuck me up are when you start switching shit and having Saturday pay-per-views and I it's just like fuck. I can't. This is the thing that fucks me up the most about pro wrestling, and always has. I love pro wrestling. Fucking sports is my life. Like, if it comes down to me watching sports entertainment or watching the fucking Final Four, I'm sorry. I'm going to watch real fucking sports, and I'm going to do it. Like, I used to, people be like, the numbers were down. I'm like, it's the fucking playoffs. It's this, it's that. Across town, fucking, the Lakers are playing, so-and-so, and it's, it's for the 10th spot. It's for the play-in. People, they live in that wrestling bubble.
Can't live by the numbers. You can't live by the podcast rankings or Nielsen ratings.
No. Now, we're at, what are we at right now, time-wise on this show?
An hour and 34 minutes.
And then we went live at 2:03. So
Well, we did a half hour live, so
yeah. So we got 3 fucking hours to go.
To be who?
Got it. Hey, maybe it's just we're just not pushing the envelope.
We're pushing. I'm pushing your ass up the hill. But anyway, in conclusion, with this issue here, $9 billion valuation is too high, and realistically, I think that somewhere in the somewhere in that probably I don't know if it would be over 5, but I said 4 would probably be safe. 3, 4, because there are assets. You have a lot of assets there with that company, even if you don't use them all. There's a lot there that you can make some money with.
And even with the things that they have, they've had really good success with shows like Rivals and Legends, and that's all off their library. I mean, and those shows are very successful. So it's just like they're never going to run out of, unique fucking footage of, because they've got everything.
They have the magic formula. They have yesterday's product, they have today's product, and they'll have tomorrow's product. They've got merchandise out the yin yang, as you know full well from your quarterly checks, and they monetize that history. They own the history. I mean,
I will say the last quarterly was bad.
Took a dip in the ratings.
Hard.
Well, let's see what Cornette's check looked like. All right, spring has sprung, and our friends at MANSCAPED, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have the best tools for some spring cleaning in your pants. They have their beard gimmick, and then don't forget what their prime product was going on down south. Trust me, your confidence is going to be blooming like the flowers. Look your best this spring from the waist down. Join the other 8 million men. Listen to that fucking number. 8 million men who trust Manscaped and use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, to get 20% off plus free shipping, okay? It's the Performance Package 4.0. And in this ball care bundle, you're going to get the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker, that's the ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver. I'm a big fan of the ball deodorant myself, I don't mind telling you. The Crop Reviver toner. Their boxers are great, too. Their Performance Boxer Briefs. And you even get a travel bag to hold all the goodies for your goodies, okay? That's the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, a little toner, a little spritz for yourself throughout the day. I love the boxers, okay? They're boxer briefs, tight but leave plenty of room. They're aerated, they're very light. It's great. It's consistent with what they want to do, which is make your life down south a lot better, okay? You're going to save 20% off and get free shipping with the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at manscaped.com. This kit is the bomb, trust me. 20% off, free shipping with the code KLIQ. We thank Manscaped, and your balls are going to thank them too. Thank you, Manscaped. And that leads us.
We should do an ad where maybe like, you're at like a pedicure place and the broad's got the tip of your penis and your balls are dipping into the scrotum. And manscaping ball deodorant and conditioner. What? You're soaking in it. Oh.
Exactly.
Boom.
Now, if they add that element to the nail salon, the grooming down south, you'd have lines around the goddamn block. Fernham Schnavitz III.
I got to say something, though.
Please do.
Because one of the biggest things, especially now that it's getting warmer, man, like, hit the fucking pits. Yeah, get your fucking Johns. And I'll tell you another thing. If you don't think you can't take the fucking top guard off that motherfucker and get yourself in a Johnny Bench position and go in there into the fucking cave and go ahead and take care of some of those stalactites that are holding on to toilet paper, you can blast that shit out for a fucking... You need to knock all that out, because the last thing you want to do is fucking get out of bed after you've been fucking joisting around for an hour and a half and fucking see something out of the corner of your eye drop, and it's a fucking dingleberry fucking wrapped in a fucking... It's like, oh, like I could have fucking so easy have manscaped that out of my life.
Yep, slide that guard right off, go right up against the skin, hit that shit right out of there.
Get those armpits. You got to use half the deodorant. You don't get that. Your fucking shirt doesn't stink halfway through the day. You're not doing this, going, oh, fuck, that's me. Just some tips, guys. Just some tips.
Could definitely use
just
it on
some tips from a middle-aged guy.
Middle-aged guy who's obviously whose ball care game is fucking strong.
Well, I mean, I passed Barkley in the Atlanta airport right before. This is before my last September flight. He said, Nash, you still manscaping? You still got that strong ball game? I said, I do, baby.
That Charles?
Yeah.
Fernum Schnavitz throwing in here, Kev. He would like to ask you, who would you rather have as a tag team partner in a match if your life depended on it? The Yeti, Buck Zumhoff, or Sean? Winners get Detroit-style pizza for life.
I'm going to go with Sean, because that way there I know we're going to be eating round pizzas.
Fucking A. We're going over. I'll get my title belt here, for God's sake. Come here. This fucking thing. Oh, where is it? It is. Knew this thing would eventually come in handy here, this fucking thing. Oh, my God.
What is that?
This was made...
commentaries.
You got to put them over here. The guys that make the belts for all the federations there.
Other way, Pumpkin. There we go.
They made a kayfabe commentators. They declared us the Wrestling Media World Champion there with the Timeline logo. And was that guest booker? What is that one there? I can't even see. Oh, Breaking Kayfabe. All of our shows on the sides there. So
it's nice. It's a nice little office piece.
Yes, absolutely. It's right up there. Exactly. These fucking things were heavy. You had to carry the shit in your fucking bags? Oh, my God.
Fucking rib. There for a while, me and Sean I was the world champ and the tag. And he was the IC, and yeah, we used to drag those fuckers through.
Jesus Christmas. Yeah, you could have it. I'd rather chase.
Yeah, I wonder why my fucking shoulder's gone.
Let's see. Evil Beeve says, Kev is always great with the pop culture references. I want to test his pop culture memory. Kev, who shot JR?
You know what? It was a woman, and I can't remember who. I can't. It was such a disappointing payoff that it.
Was the actress Charlene Tilton?
I don't think so.
That actually did the dirty deed. They'll let us know. Let's see. Oh, Kristen Shepard.
Yeah,
it was huge.
Pull her. Oh, it was huge as they waited for the payoff, and the payoff was fucking a 1-inch cock.
Well, but they had to make it very. Mary Crosby was the name. They had to make it a very outlandish. Because people were guessing all the.
Yeah, so why not pick somebody that nobody wanted?
Well,
they tried to get Bucks. Yeah, they tried to get Buck Zumhoff, but I guess he was at a kid's party.
He's playing a Pogo the Clown. Any questions from the audience? We have fans here. What have they for us? Kevin, when X-Pac came back to WWE and formed the new DX with Triple H and the new NAO, do you think Road Dogg and Billy Gunn were a good fit? And did you get along with the New Age Outlaws on a personal level?
Yes, I thought they were a good fit, and I've always gotten along with those guys.
Okay. Thomas says, hey, Big Kev, time to set the record straight. Was HBK's Lost My Smile speech legit, or was it a puss out of doing the job to Brett at Mania? P.S. R.I.P. Tristan.
I don't even have to say. You'll have to ask him. I wasn't there when he lost his smile.
Okay. Ben Gusa, ever frequented the Ganella sandwich shops, either on Fort or Telegraph? The fuck is he talking about, Kevin?
That's Fort and I mean, that's up in Michigan, but I'm not a sandwich guy, so no, I don't know the Ganella's sandwich shops.
Sounds like a slang for your balls, doesn't it? The Ganellas. Hey, watch my fucking Ganellas. Oh, yeah, smacking.
You can eat a sandwich, eat my Ganella.
Eat my Ganellas, motherfucker. I think that's what Joe Pesci said when he took the sunglasses off when he was watching Sam's set. This guy could suck my Ganellas. Someone from the audience. What do we got here? Bryant, it's the 1980s. It's Lakers versus Celtics, and it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and you can be courtside. Would you rather be at the Garden or the Forum? Excellent question.
Better pussy at the Forum.
Oh, well, is that the only reason you'd base this decision?
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, of course. Yeah, the Forum, you could sit next to Jack, right? That would be pretty cool.
No, I want to be in well, it would be June, so.
No air conditioning at the Garden.
That old '80s Garden was a shithole. I'm sorry. I mean, it's like when I came back, it was like one of the last. There was maybe 4 or 5 games before they were knocking Tiger Stadium down. So I flew home. I took my son and my wife. I wanted him to see, and the Tigers brought us in the locker room and showed us around. We got the VIP. The lockers were the same lockers that fucking Ty Cobb was in. I mean, they were as wide as my shoulder. It was so, half the seats underneath home plate had televisions because they're obstructed views, and you'd watch the game on a TV. You couldn't get a fucking drink to save your life. And I'm going home at this time. I was living in Phoenix. It was Bank One Ballpark. They had fucking beautiful women as waitresses serving fucking cocktails and food. They shut the top. You'd walk in, it'd be 74 degrees in that big fucking building in the middle of the desert. It was like, I said, man, my brother said, what do you think? I said, man, between you and I said, nostalgia's fucking great, but knock that motherfucker down. I said, it was not a pleasant, it was great in, 65, 64 when we went for our first time and watched the game, but no, not
when you
so
wrestled at the Boston Garden, obviously, right?
Yeah, I was the last match at the old Boston Garden. Me versus Sid.
Did the excitement of the fans outweigh the lax conditions of the building in any way, or was it just a bad experience?
It was. I loved it.
Oh, okay.
I was the first one eliminated in a Survivor Series there.
But did you love it for the hoop, the historical basketball significance, or was it a great city to work wrestling wise?
Well, we always stayed down in Revere. Outside the city.
Yeah.
We started down in Revere. There was old Hojo's down there that had like a Benihana's, and there was a couple of good gyms down there. So, that was kind of, you stayed in a city, like you didn't stay in Boston proper, because the room would have cost you fucking $3 bills.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go out someplace that's a little rough, to.
I just can't imagine working in a ring for a half hour in July in the fucking garden.
Just take.
It's like an outdoor show.
Yeah, just take a shower. Don't just put a pair of shorts on, underwear and shorts. Don't put a shirt on. Just keep your towel. Sit in the car, put the air on, drive for a while, and then eventually fucking you cool off, get some beers, and put your shirt on, and you're ready to go.
But do you gas out like fucking 5 minutes into the...
I tell you, the worst thing to me was always when you'd go to Denver.
Oh, the altitude.
Oh, fuck, man. And I don't care how many... I did it not too long ago. Just was got in late, and the guy was... I didn't want the guy to circle that motherfucker and come back in a car. It would take 6 weeks. So I said, man, I'm on my way, so I'm hustling. And I got all my 8x10s in my briefcase. So my briefcase is probably 25 pounds, and I'm fucking switching hands, and, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, like, fuck, am I going to have a fucking heart attack? And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And it was just like that altitude sickness that quick, because I was pushing myself, and I got off the plane on top of that, and I had a couple of cocktails. It was just like, oh, fuck, man. But
if you play for the Broncos, do you ever just get used to it, or you just...
Yeah, I would have to say that, like, if you're in one of the Nuggets, that's got to be a huge home court advantage.
Right.
I mean, think about it. When Mexico City, like and then they go to Colorado Springs, which I think is another 2,000 feet higher than Denver for the Olympic training grounds.
Yeah.
I wrestled Hunter on, I think it was on Raw for like 20-something minutes in Colorado Springs, and then got out of there, flew to L.A., had a body cast made of myself for the Punisher, went and trained legs, got on a plane, flew to fucking Sydney, wrestled in Sydney, had dinner with Sean in his room the night after the matches, went to walk across the fucking lobby to the next town, Melbourne, and fucking passed out just flat in the fucking middle of and had all these tests done when I came home, and they said they'd found a lot of young CEOs and a lot of young investment people that just basically had pushed so hard, and your body runs on a synapses, electrical synapses in your brain. He said basically you had a brownout. He said you just had a brownout. I said,
is that the only time that happened to you?
One other time, but I think somebody put something in. I was at Buck Subenhoff, so I was just fucking hanging out. And
I was going to say, you're at the baseball game sitting behind home plate, maybe. Brown out.
Yeah, brown eye. But no, that's the only time I've ever had that happen.
Okay, VT asks, says, love the show. I started going back to the gym, inspired by Kev. You have a unique view, having played pro ball and wrestled. Did you ever meet Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, or others who did 2 sports at once? Will we ever see that again?
I've seen Bo quite a few times, because we're all Dr. Andrews' disciples. Dr. Andrews has put all of us back together again. And he was the one that basically saved Bo's hip and allowed him to play baseball after the injury with the Raiders. But I saw Bo not too long ago in one of the Sky Lounges, and we were sitting up there and we were watching golf. And it was a Sunday, and this guy sat down next to him, and he said, Herschel fucking Walker.
Is that like when people call you Rick Nash?
No, because, it's just Rick Nash I get. Herschel Walker, it looks nothing like Bo Jackson. And Bo looked at him. He says, "No, motherfucker!" Like, and it just turned his back to the dude. And the guy just didn't get it. Like, he just didn't. And I said, "Bo, does that happen to you a lot? Some asshole not know who the fuck you are?" And then the guy was just like, "Oh, that's Bo Jackson." Yeah.
The fucking guy was on every commercial on television for like 5 years. That whole Bo Knows campaign was Nike, right?
Herschel didn't fucking. The only thing Herschel got was that sweet ass run as a fucking senator up there in Georgia.
I'm assuming that hadn't happened yet when you're talking about this.
No.
Herschel Walker, Jesus Christ.
I didn't think that. I don't think that Bo thought that he was in the same vicinity as.
But when was the last time we had somebody do the dual sport thing? Was it Dion?
Let me think.
Jordan played baseball, but that was after basketball, right?
But he didn't play. I don't think he played Major League Baseball.
No, it wasn't Major League.
He played out in Peoria. He played out. I actually went out to the park that he was at spring training in, and he actually signed a baseball for me.
That's cool.
I got a Michael Jordan signed baseball, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It has to be, to me, the fucking kid from the Angels, the Japanese kid from the Angels, man, that fucking hits 40 home runs and fucking pitches 20 wins. I mean, that's pretty fucking, you know.
Otami?
Yeah, Otami, and he's up for, this is his, like, free, like, after this year, he's a free agent.
He should ask for $9 billion. Got a question in the house. We'll wrap it up with some live fans.
It was 6.
Right, but what a difference 3 months makes.
Steve's coming up with one. Tim Tebow.
Yes, you're right.
Very great athlete. It's almost like he was. If he would have gotten some trouble, like if he wouldn't have been like going to fucking, you know, doing things with Christians.
Well, he was religious, and
yeah, like it's almost like if just a small, like, you know, concealed weapon fucking violation, just anything, you know.
His agent should have. He needed Buck Zumhoff's agent. Is what he needed.
I think the boom box alone would have changed his complete perception.
Let's get some local fans in here. Our friends from ad-free shows. Josh says, "Thank you. Yesterday was super rough. Today better, but not great. At least I can breathe without wanting to cry." Josh had some health issues, those of you listening to us, and actually tweeted out from the hospital. And I think in my sensitivity, told him, "Enough of this shit. We got a live show coming up. You better be out of the hospital, and I better see you there." And I'm happy that we did.
Josh is here. Come hither.
What else we got here? Bobby, what was your first scripted WWE promo?
Fuck, who knows?
You were still all improv, right? Your 95 run, the title run, that was still all you could get up and say what you wanted to say, right? You were not given a script.
Yeah. It wasn't until I came back,
right,
in 2002 or whatever, when they started handing you, and then going down at 1 o'clock and having rehearsals, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you guys just took a fucking, like, a chill fucking job and just now made it, you know, fucking doing the roof on a bowling alley. It's like,
tar.
Yeah. We just tarred the roof on a bowling alley. Boy, this is fucking fun. You can't even get a fucking Schindler's List. Fuck, we felt like men after they gave us a beer. Fuck that.
WCW was all improv, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right. Anyone else? We'll finish it up with Adam. Can I ask how many zeros were in the check you got for the movie SLAW? I ask because after seeing the production value, I feel I could match that to smoke some jackknife and chill. Was that an indie type contract or?
Dude, the only reason I do movies like that is because they're SAG, and you have to qualify so much, and I was like $7,900 shy
of the insurance
of my insurance, and I got $7,900 to do that fucking film for a day. So
that was 84% of the budget, I heard.
It doesn't matter. I fucking got my insurance. My wife got her insurance. My son got his insurance. It's called fucking. It's called. I don't give a fuck if anybody sees it. I don't give a fuck if somebody sees it and says it sucks. It's the worst movie ever. I got my insurance. But
listen,
and I got paid.
This is the thing people don't understand, and it gets kind of crazy. When you decide to go pro as an artist, an actor, painter, writer, whatever people pay you to do, you can't discriminate as much as one might imagine with your artistic merits. It's a job. If you were a plumber, are you going to choose based on which customer has the nicest toilet that you're going to work on? I don't like the tile in that bathroom, so I'm not going to work on this. You do the job. You go and you do the goddamn job. You punch the clock. It's like Big Bob used to do at the factory. You punch the clock. There's somebody you could write a check to looking to do a job.
That's right, and that was my whole thing. When they called my agent, and she'd say, "Do you want me to send the sides?" And the first thing I always say is, "What does it pay?" That's my first question. What's it pay?
Boys, start working on the shirt.
then when I find out what it pays, I say, "Where does it shoot?" Third question, am I at any point in prosthetics?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because you learn after being in prosthetics in one film, that ain't fucking no. Unless I'm Frankenstein and I'm getting fucking 7 figures to play Frankenstein, I ain't fucking. Ask Dave Bautista how that Dax fucking thing was to him.
Oof.
Jesus.
Well, Kev, you're my Frankenstein, certainly. And I thank our audience who always like to come out and hang out with us a little bit. I want to remind everyone that Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, except the outro you're hearing is by Tristan's band, The Builders. I should say that every week, because I read it over the song. I never mention that. Copyright 2023, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, do you want to do another one?
If I fucking make it home from Pensacola without being fucking
We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned.
I'll be here. Fucking, I got nowhere. I'm like fucking mayonnaise. I got nowhere else to go.
And we'll see all our ad-free friends tonight, live 9 o'clock, for our fun bad matches that we'll cover. Deuces, everybody.